All right, so our next video here is for sig number 10, which is the derivative of trigonomic functions. And these, you have to remember, like basically memorize trigonomic functions and their derivatives, and that's what this is testing here, is can you memorize them. So the first one is cosine. If we remember, the derivative of cosine u is going to equal negative sine u times u prime. I like to put parentheses around that u because nothing can get in there. So in this case we have cosine 2x to the third. The derivative, right, f prime is going to equal negative cosine of u, which is that same guy there, right, this is u, times u prime. Take the derivative of that inside piece and you get 6x squared. That's a 6. And typically we're going to need to write this in the front. So let's go ahead and write that. F prime of x equals negative 6x squared times cosine 2x cubed. That's our derivative. All right, for sine, we need to remember that the derivative of sine is cosine u. Sorry, let's write this whole thing out. The derivative of sine of u is equal to cosine u times u prime. Okay, again, put some parentheses there. So y prime is going to equal derivative of sine, which is cosine of u. Same thing on the inside. All you got to do is multiply by the derivative of the inside. What's the derivative of 4x cubed? It's going to be 12x squared. And this 12x squared needs to come out to the front to be in the normal notation, right? And there you go, that's the derivative of that. Now we get into some of the trickier ones. The derivative of a tangent. Derivative of tangent, of u, let's say u, is simply secant squared u times u prime. Again, if you want to prove this, like if you don't memorize that, then you should be thinking, well, tangent is sine u over cosine u, and you can use product or chain rule on this guy to figure out what the derivative of tangent should be. It's not that hard, but it's better just to memorize it. So here we go. Y prime equals derivative of tangent is secant squared, same thing on the inside, times the derivative of the inside, which is 25x to the fourth. The only other thing we want to do is write this guy in the front. Let's write the polynomial term in the front. There you go. That's your answer. You know what? Let's do the next one. Cotangent. If I knew tangent, I know cotangent, right? The cofunctions, the derivative of the cofunctions are always negative. So the derivative of cotangent u is going to be negative. Since tangent went to secant, cotangent is going to go to cosecant, right? And then you just have to multiply by u prime. So there's a lot of patterns here that will help you memorize these. So f prime of x, the derivative of, we're doing number 6. The derivative of cotangent, y prime, is tangent went to secant, cotangent goes to negative cosecant. Inside stays the same, multiply by derivative of the inside. And we will get this guy. Alright, that's our simplified answer. Let's go back up to let's do number 5 first, just so you can see the pattern. The derivative of secant u is secant u times tangent u times u prime. And again, you could use product rule, knowing that secant is 1 over cosine. Sorry, this is quotient rule, and you can figure it out if you don't have it memorized. However, again, you probably better off just memorizing it. So derivative of this, derivative of secant is itself secant x to the 5th, tangent x to the 5th, times the derivative of x to the 5th, which is 5x to the 4th. Right, and then typically just write this in the front. So 5x to the 4th, secant x to the 5th, tangent x to the 5th, and this is the derivative. That. All right, so again, if we know secant, we know cosecant. If secant went to secant tangent, then cosecant, remember the cofunctions go to negative. Cosecant will go to cosecant cotangent times u prime. All right, so the derivative here is going to be negative cosecant x to the fifth, cotangent x to the fifth, times the derivative of x to the fifth, which is 5x to the fourth. And again, just combine that negative and that 5x to the fourth, put them in the front, and write the rest here. Alright, so that is that. The biggest part of this is memorizing those shortcuts and then simplifying a little bit. And you should do fine. Alright, good luck on this one.